Hello.
Greetings.
Hello. Let's see if this works. Hello.
Are we here?
Are we here? Are we live?
I don't know. I'm
we
not
have
running.
audio?
This is the most professional intro we've ever done.
At least 50% of that is correct.
Okay. I think we're here.
Hey. Hello. Welcome.
I have not yet heard anyone protest that there's no audio. So, here we go. Hello. Hi. Welcome. Good morning. Good evening. Good night. Good day.
Hi.
Hey. How's it going? Welcome to Inside the Verse. I don't know what episode we are. I don't know what we're going to talk about.
89.
I
don't know.
Is it even Saturday today?
Yes.
Okay. Maybe. Who do I have with me? Who am I?
What month is it?
I'm David. I'm
here.
sort of some kind of tea drinking person. With me, I've got an egotistical maniac, an absolute madman, completely bonkers. It's Nakara. I've got the sweetest, most kind, and thoughtful person I know, which is Jake Acapella. And I've got some drunk-ass Canadian wanker, Shiver, I think.
Wait a minute!
I could be confused.
No, you're Eris. Confused is watching.
Wait! Okay, so...
Yes!
How's everybody doing?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Okay.
You broke the internet, David.
I know. I try and do it every week. It's my job.
Oh,
Weekly
God.
ritual?
You know, you thought you were ready for anything I could throw at you in an intro.
Nope.
You thought. Never.
No.
Okay, let's get started, because...
There's a lot
Yeah.
this week. Oh my God.
It's kind of funny, because I've had a lot of people complaining this week. I help moderate the general subreddit Discord. And I've seen a lot of people saying that CIG haven't been giving us any information for a while now. And
Did you see the monthly report, people?
Nah.
Oh my good God.
The monthly report is beautiful. Okay, let's get into it. So Chris is back. He's back in the UK. He's finished the 3.0 mocap stuff, and he's back again.
He's back.
Which is
Again.
always good.
Yep.
Star Marine.
It's happening.
Slowly.
It's
being,
happening.
It's being tested by QA.
Which means it's done. It mostly.
Yeah.
I'd feel a lot better if it was in the hands of the Avocati instead of the QA.
It's mostly that I think if they're playing it every day, then it's got to be working.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
It's working.
They're
They're still making.
company-wide
They're still
tests,
making.
right?
They are, but they're still making apparently large changes to it after every one. So,
Yeah.
I don't think it's up to speed yet.
I don't know.
Related
if-
to Star Marine, Zane
Yeah.
is in the chat who wrote a very interesting article that's very popular up on imperialnews.network about what to expect from Star Marine.
Good
Mhm.
article. We're really glad to have Zane writing for us because, hey, we always like people writing for us.
Hi, Zane.
hi Zane.
Welcome.
Shiver, you should try and post that article in the chat so that people can,
Oh. Am I a mod?
You should be.
Am I a mod? Yes, I am.
Question
That
though,
means I
and I
can
know
just-
I think we've talked about this pretty much every week for a while, but do you actually think that Star Marine is going to make it to the Avocati, or will it skip the
See-
avocados?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Based on everything they've said, it sounds like they have a lot of faith in the Avocati, so I think that they will probably push it there first. Especially since it's 800 people. I didn't know it was that big.
It's huge.
Yes, it's
800
grown.
people,
So-
40 countries.
It
12
started.
languages.
As far as I know, from hearing down the grapevine, it started with around 200 or 300 people.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean,
But it's grown a little bit.
what CIG have really done here with the Avocati, I mean, this is basically the largest QA department out there,
Yeah,
Basically, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
yeah, pretty much.
CIG have managed to take the love that their fans have for the game and turned it into the largest QA department for free.
Yep.
Period.
They should, yeah, that should be the Avocati's motto, is what the orcs always say. We will never be slaves.
I don't know. I think,
but
like,
they are.
I don't.
But we love
there's a
them
lot
for
that
it.
CIG have done that's new. I mean, the whole crowdfunding an entire AAA game is new. Lots of the open development is new. I think if anything's going to catch on, it might be the Avocati.
Yeah,
I could see
Yeah,
other.
I do think that that a lot of companies have opted for the stress test, especially if it's multiplayer.
Yeah.
Which is good. And also getting feedback in terms of balance changes, like we were just talking about Overwatch before the podcast started,
Tuesday.
and before they throw any big change onto the major servers, they put it on the test servers.
Yeah.
And like anyone can go on those test servers, but you have to opt in, and they usually get a lot of really good feedback from that.
Brivos, I've tried turning up my mic a bit. Let me know if it's any better. I hope it is.
You sound all right for me, but who knows?
It is. My M-Box thing is a pile of crap. So, yeah.
I love how you still call it an M-Box.
But it is. It's an M-Box.
It is actually an M-Box?
It's literally
I
an
thought-
M-Box.
What? They still make those?
No.
Or have you just had it for like
I've had
10
it
years?
forever.
thus it being a pile of
Crap. It comes from 6Fs and Caps, who has provided all my audio gear, as well as these lovely sound things that are not all over, so I can sound less echoey, apparently. Let's talk more Star
All the
Marine.
technical terms.
Well, no, we got in ATV this week. There was a studio update talking about the lighting and how Star Marine is going to be a more tactical FPS, basically saying that lighting isn't going to be designed to contrast with the player. It's just going to be realistic lighting.
Yeah, like most games, they highlight the players so they're easier to see. This game, you'll truly be able to hide in plain sight if you're good enough.
Being able to use your lighting as an advantage, like
Yep.
finding dark corners to hide in, or being able to lose people because of a dark room, and you're moving fast enough to be able to slip
So
by.
much so you'll have to start thinking about, if I fire my gun, will that give away my position? Can I afford to give away my position?
Yes.
Yeah, and
Moving on to
it's not
suppressors and so on.
it's not just going to be, I mean, we already saw it, well, we saw it a long time ago, but the sound that they were doing, they showed it like last year, I think. The sound stuff the sound has only improved since then, and even then it was amazing. So you're going to be able to use light and sound to really hone in on your enemies, right? Which also gives them a lot of room for attachments for weapons to reduce the like suppressors or I don't know, other
Anybody
things.
else super
Flash
glad
muzzles.
that?
Yes.
Anybody else super glad that Emery is the one doing the lighting for Star Marine?
Yeah.
Because I am.
Yeah.
Mm.
Shout out to Emery. He's pretty awesome.
He won best community thing last year.
Yeah.
From INN because he did cool stuff, and then CIG is like, and ate him.
We will swallow you whole. So 2.6.
Back to the audio thing. That's one of the things I really like about what they're doing with the audio. It's recent Battlefields have really tried to do that with the Frostbite engine and their war tape setting, but it's never quite there, is it, with the positional audio? But it seems like CIG are really putting in a lot of time and effort to make the audio an actual, like you say, a source of things. So you'll be able to discern a target's location and use it to your advantage. And not a lot of games really go into that depth. It's really good to see.
I think it's also too because Battlefield is so busy.
Yeah.
And
I think you're gonna want
stuff going on.
I think you're gonna want a good set of headphones for Star
No,
Marine.
5.1s. You want your 5.1s.
Yep. So they talked a bit about matchmaking. And matchmaking in 2.6 is apparently going to change up. It's going to be more similar to Overwatch or Heroes of the Storm, where you group up and then you search for a game rather than Battlefield, where you go into large lobbies and such. Any thoughts on that?
I like traditional matchmaking better, so yeah. I don't like what Battlefield and Call of Duty have done in recent years.
No, I like that approach. I think it'll work nicely. And I know people have been desperate to play together for a long time, so I think that it will be a big boost to that side of things as well.
I think maybe one of the things that might be holding back this patch is a lot of this stuff is probably going to carry over to the persistent universe as well.
Yes.
So they're trying to get that right, which good.
Well, and the other thing is that, as I've said before, 99.9% chance that this patch is what they see as the stepping stone to Squadron 42. It has all of the game mechanics they need.
Well, the thing is, like, keep in mind, Squadron 42, when it was originally concepted, wasn't supposed to have any of this first-person stuff, and it wasn't supposed to have procedural planets and stuff in it either, right? Like, it was supposed to be set pieces. So it kind of makes sense that, I mean, that's the reason we've had Arena Commander forever, because we've been able to test flight for them forever. But now, one, flight needs to change because the flight gameplay is different, and so is the FP. Like, yeah, they need to do a lot of testing with us before Squadron 42.
Yep.
So I want to move on to the monthly report because I know we're going to get into a quick edutainment session, and then we're going to do questions. But first, there's some monthly report stuff that I think is incredibly important. One, Peter Mackey.
I say we go through each studio because one of the best ones is towards the end.
Oh, yeah. Well, LA, honestly, not much this month. Work on the Aquila, the Herald, and work on Item System 2.0.
Yep. We knew all that.
Item System 2.0 is important, but it's coming. Austin, Peter Mackey.
Yep.
Working on
Weather Wizard.
Well, he's working on something called Trade Slayer, which is an end-to-end economic model of how an item gets created, from mining commodities, being refined, manufactured, and then placed on a store shelf. Like,
yep.
Well, that stuff needs to be in the game for, well, maybe not 3.0, although there will be trading in cargo.
Maybe.
It certainly needs to be in there sooner rather than later.
But I find that insane that it's not just, I mean, in most games I've ever played, it's like you mine some iron and then you get rid of the iron and whatever, you go back and mine some. They're going to, like, mine the iron.
Go into the ether. It still exists.
It exists, and there's going to be an entire mine it, then send it to the refining, then send it to manufacturing, then send it to the store. Like, there's an entire economy here. Mm-hmm. And not just like World of Warcraft, where you mine ore, build something, put it on the auction house. Like, this is going to include the in-game stores as well, right?
Yep. Although a lot of those steps are saved if you have an Orion.
This is true.
Nice.
I mean, well, you can do the mining and the refining in one place at one time, which is kind of nice.
Mm-hmm.
Then send it off to an Endeavor to turn it into guns.
Yeah. So that is awesome. Cool stuff coming out of our PU team.
Yeah. Foundry 42. Where is it?
I actually wanted to mention something else about Pete Mackey's work.
Yeah.
I think the price fixer thing is pretty interesting too.
Oh yeah.
How they'll generate in-game values based on like the characteristics and components costs for all of the ships.
Yeah.
And that will form their price. Like, I think it's really cool.
Yeah. It sounds like what they're doing with the economy is going to be simulating an actual economy, which is really, really important for a game. I mean...
Yeah. And it's also why Tony Zervek is overlooking it.
Yeah. Tony Z. So I want to talk a bit about Foundry 42 UK, because this is something...
There's a lot of stuff in here.
There's a lot of stuff in here, but there's one thing I want to pick out as being probably the most important thing in this entire monthly report.
The Prowler.
No.
CitizenCon happened.
No.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
No.
The Prowler.
All Squadron 42 levels are in final art.
Excellent. Which means they're no longer gray box.
Well, and keep in mind, last month, this is last month's report. Beginning of last month, we were told that things were in gray box. Chris stood up on the stage at CitizenCon and said, "It's in gray box." Now,
no. Wait,
some things.
Slow down.
Gray box.
He said all.
Yes.
He said all levels for gray box are better, which means a lot of them are probably better.
Right, but now it's final art or better.
Yep.
That is a drastic improvement in under a month.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like,
what it means is that they were a lot closer than we thought they were.
What it means to me is the thing holding them back is subsumption. It's getting the AI right.
Yeah. AI is going to be their biggest blocker.
AI is something completely... You've got, say, Skyrim's AI, where an AI has a preset routine. It says, I have a shop. I have to be in this shop at 9 o'clock. I have to stay in this shop till 5 o'clock. Then I go home. Then I repeat the process. This subsumption is far more in depth. It's much more, I need to get out of the house. How do I get out of the house? What's in my way? I navigate round the house. I've got out of the door, and then and so on. You could, and it's adaptable as well. So if it will react to another NPC that's going to jump out on another NPC in a dark alley and mug it or whatever. It's really complex system.
And here's the thing with that too, is that that they're not just building the AI for Squadron 42. They're making a robust AI system that they can use in both Squadron 42 and Star Citizen.
Yeah.
So in order to do, like, that's why it's taking so long, guys, is they're making something that's never been done before. So and like I see a lot of people that are like, that are like, we need Star Marine before we can get Squadron 42, and the fact that Star Marine's not done means the mechanics aren't done. No, the mechanics for Star Marine are super done. And they've probably been done for a long time. Considering I've known this for a while, but Chris Roberts just reiterated it on ATV this week. They're playtesting Star Marine daily.
Yeah.
Which means the mechanics are done. They're just making sure the matchmaking's working and there's no bugs in the maps or anything like that.
Keep in
One
mind...
thing I did notice this week is they're still talking about having network problems where they were having desync and things like that. I think that needs to be solved before it goes live.
And that's all stuff that I don't know how much they're going to fix for 2.6. We have to hope that it's fixed for 3.0. Like, networking now is probably their biggest hurdle.
That's what they're working on, though, right? Mm-hmm. Is Star Network.
Yeah.
So
I don't know if it's going to make it for 2.6, and they're going to try and make it as good as they can, but
Star Network won't make it for 2.6. It's not going to be great in 2.6, but it has to be playable.
I think the system we'll get for Star Marine and Arena Commander in 2.6 will be a tiny chunk of Star Network.
Yeah.
But I don't think we'll see the improvements on the PU side.
One thing I think is important to remember is, like, Star Marine's going to come out and we're going to play test the hell out of it. But they're going to be adding new things. They're going to be adding, the ability to start tweaking all of your components. You're going to be able to tweak every single component inside your gun. Right? Like, there's going to be so much, and that's all going to have to be balanced. And they're going to be balancing this stuff forever. Right? And there's going to be balance passes after Squadron 42 comes out. Yeah. Ships are going to change, numbers are going to change, things are going to change all the way along, but the core gameplay is there.
Yep. And probably has been for a little while.
Yeah. Yep.
You know what I think they were probably planning on doing, and then they realized that they wanted to get all the AI and persistent planets into Squadron 42. Do I think they probably were planning on doing is releasing Star Marine with Squadron 42.
Maybe.
And then they realized they wanted to put some more systems into Squadron 42, so they Star Marine they knew Star Marine was going to finish first before Star Marine or before Squadron 42. And then they're like, okay, let's put in 2.6 just to get it up there. Because that would have been so smart if they released Squadron 42 and they're like, oh, yeah, here's the single player campaign and multiplayer.
Yeah.
All other shooters ever.
The only problem with that is that they don't get any real play testing before that.
Yeah.
Before Squadron, that way.
They do need the play testing of the FPS, but most games don't get play testing of their FPS before they launch, right? I mean, they might do a beta, but that's about it.
Well, I know a lot of people, everybody watching this knows that 99% of betas these days are glorified demos.
Yes, that's true.
And however, there's also the thing that Squadron 42 can be balanced completely differently than Star Marine.
Yeah, it could be absolutely. Yeah.
Because I'm gonna bring up this game a lot. Look at the title of this podcast right now. I played this little game called Titanfall 2 last week, and
it's little, is it?
What?
Oh,
is it?
Yes. But there's a weapon that you get to use in the campaign that doesn't exist in the multiplayer. Because it's really, really powerful.
That happens a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Not I'm not talking like a rocket launcher or something obvious. Like, this is a pistol.
Okay.
Nice.
But if you've played the first Titanfall, you know what pistol this is. It's one that locks onto everything you highlight, you pull the trigger, and everything dies.
That
bullets curve, it's beautiful.
Okay.
But that's just not in the multiplayer because obviously it would be super broken, right?
Insta-win, yeah.
So it's not super necessary that they get all the balance tweaks right between the two games because especially if you want some scripted stuff, which Squadron 42 is going to have a lot of, it helps to have your weapons work for that.
Yeah.
Know what I mean?
Yeah, I would agree. I'm not really thinking about balance passes. I'm thinking more about animations, guns. Do things work? Does the sound work?
Yeah.
Do all of the different positions that your guy can take work? Do you clip through walls?
Zane and Acid in chat are saying, I mean, Zane's saying the word beta gets misused now. Planet Coaster is releasing on the 17th, and the beta starts on the 9th. That's not a beta, that's an early access demo. And Acid says, back in my day, beta meant testing.
Mm-hmm.
And
correction. I haven't unlocked this yet, which is probably why. That pistol is a boost in Titanfall 2. Which means it's like you kill a certain number of dudes and you get to have it for like this long.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Still.
Then you wreck everyone.
But my point stands.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, it's
just add that all the time.
Star Citizen is using an alpha the way games used to use betas.
Yes.
Yeah, used to a long time
ago.
And now here's the thing about that. And I'm putting on my Dolvac hat for a minute.
Oh no, I don't want a Dolvac hat.
No, and like, but I am, but I'm not.
Okay.
Because Dolvac's all about semantics and how we use words, right? But I think it's been long enough where we've had like people are like, oh, alpha means this and beta means this. It really doesn't mean either of those things anymore. And
alpha was supposed to be. Alpha used to be before you made it to like 1.0 was launch, right?
Yeah. Well, no, it's not even that. It's like it's alpha. Alpha is unfinished. Beta is a stress test. Whereas it used to be alpha never saw the light of day.
Yeah.
Beta was your content isn't finished, but the gameplay elements are finished.
Right.
Yeah, like if you actually go back and look at, I did a little bit of work in the community on World of Warcraft, and there are screenshots out there from Alpha World of Warcraft. It bears no resemblance to anything anyone ever played.
Yep.
It's scary.
Nothing. Doesn't look at all like anything anyone ever played.
But
I played beta, and it was a true beta back then. They did actually do beta for a long time, and they fixed things.
Yep. Still do beta.
But it's not really now. Yeah, now it's sort of shifted.
Well,
so like alpha's beta,
and that's kind of what's so crazy about what CIG are doing. We're seeing the game in its alpha progress the entire way through, which no one's done for a AAA game ever, because you don't see anything about the game until it's at least in beta, right? Like normal game. I mean, I keep bringing it up, but Fallout 4, we didn't see it till it was 3 months from done.
Exactly.
Yeah,
no one saw it.
This is what
it says, though. That's
Sure,
a bit of
sure.
an exception to the rule.
Yes,
but
like
people still in their heads that 10 years ago that these words meant these things, and now like they're like, oh, we're so upset that they're using it. It just means this now. Well, maybe it does.
Shiver.
I mean, way back in the day, you never played a beta. That there was no such thing as a player beta thing. It used to go through alpha, beta, and sometimes there was even a gamma test, and then you would just buy a product that worked, because there was no internet in those days, and companies, when they released a game, they had to make sure it worked proper from beginning to end, and none of these bugs.
Can you do a voice attack profile with that voice?
Yes.
That would be amazing. Well, what they call this eject button nowadays. Back in my day, we went down with the ship.
Pressing eject, or in my day, you used to have to do that manually and climb out of wreck and burn for 20 hours a day, spent 3 days in hospital and walk home, and you were grateful in them days. Grateful, I say.
Work 24 hours at mill for 2 pence a day. Okay, moving on.
God, can we move on now?
Yes. Shiver, one thing to pick out from Frankfurt. Quick.
One thing.
One thing.
We
quick.
can't understand it.
Subsumption combat behavior.
Right, yes.
That's a good one to
Lots
pick
of
out.
cool stuff
because,
in there.
Yeah, but I mean that's going to be the most obviously directly related thing to Star Marine, and thus knock on to Squadron. Basically, it's a better, smarter enemy. They're going to be aware of cover, use cover, aware of you. If they're on your team, they're going to be able to navigate debris that's thrown in the way or something like that, even if it wasn't built in the first place like that. It's something that a lot of us take for granted as being in a game, but this is one step above what we're used to in many single-player FPSs.
One thing I think they might use is a long time for Subsumption. They've been talking about primary and secondary objectives, right? Like an AI can have a primary objective of getting to the Yila asteroid field, and its secondary objective is finding pirates and fighting them, whatever. You'll probably, and they'll be able to differentiate on that from every enemy you have. So one enemy, his primary objective might be getting into your face and shotgunning it as much as he can. He's going to charge the fuck out of you. And you've got another enemy, his objective might be staying alive so that he can see his son again. And he's going to fucking cower in a corner.
And if you kill him, then you get this email from the widow saying how they're now starving, that he was only 3 days from retirement.
Okay, behavior, honestly, not too much. Behavior amazing, but not too much noteworthy. Just lots of work on Hurston. Lots of work on Hurston, Microtech, and Crusader.
This is the first time we've seen them in engine, David.
But we can't. I don't have screenshots, so just tell people to go look. Tell people to go look at the monthly report to see them.
Here they come. They're coming in chat.
They're coming in chat. Now. Okay.
Look. Oh my.
Right the balls now?
God, right the balls.
Balls.
David, we're all very disappointed in you.
I honestly have not had time to even look at the monthly report. This is the first time seeing these images.
We have never seen these planets in engine before.
Yeah. No,
Here they are.
I love behavior, okay? I love behavior. I love behavior. But
man, I agree with the top comment in the thread that I pulled these from. Crusader gives me serious KOTOR vibes. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And Hurston's like, oh, it's amazing.
It's all very squares. It's like, let's add squares to more squares, and then here's some more squares, and every single panel's a square. Let's just build squares on top of more squares. Do you like some squares? Here, I like squares.
David.
Did you see Microtech?
Go ahead, Eric.
All of the architecture from Microtech to Hurston to Crusader to ArcCorp is the same.
I know.
This has been talked about for a long time. It is one form of the architecture in Star Citizen.
I know it's great because they are all very reminiscent of each other. The squares bother me, man. I want to see something new. I want to see some
squareless.
I'm an anti-square man.
Eris, all these squares make a circle.
Moving on to Turbulent.
Tech looks so good.
Hang on, I have to go Google something really quickly or find it on Twitter. So moving on to Turbulent. Turbulent, as we all know, or should know, or hopefully know. Why am I logged into INN on this one? Oh, God. I need to find it on Twitter because someone made a thing for me that I need to post in chat because it's amazing. Turbulent are working on Spectrum.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, mobile's not mentioned at all.
Mobile is not mentioned at all.
Oh dear God, here we go.
No, I'm sorry. This is my most important thing. Here I am. I'm gonna post it. Right? Oh, I accidentally clicked the Windows Store. Why is Windows Store even an icon? God. Here it is. Hashtag mobile first. Made for me by Kin Shadow. And this is honestly something that bothers me. In Turbulence monthly report, they say that the initial launch will be a web application. And once again, I think that is a horrible, horrible mistake.
I mean, they should release them simultaneously, but
why can't you just use the web app on your phone or tablet?
That's a good point. Do they have will it be mobile compatible?
If it's mobile compatible, maybe, but I don't. Looking at it, it does not look it's going to be very mobile compatible. Mobile is so important nowadays. Half of INN's hits come from mobile. People check everything on mobile. People do everything on mobile. You keep up with your content on mobile. Like,
because we have big screens as big as my face.
Yeah.
Hey, guess what, guys? Guess what?
What?
Spectrum needs to work on phones.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. Hashtag mobile first. Or, sorry, not mobile first, but mobile concurrently, I suppose would be a more apt hashtag.
I like how you're more passionate about this than seeing the freaking planets in 3.0.
I think this is more important for the game. I seriously think that this is more important for the game. Look at Discord.
Landing zones are not important for the game. This is Star Citizen, David.
Jake, it's about...
I think it is far more important that I can put a reaction of a poo to whatever you say on the spectrum.
Okay, reactions should burn in hell. Reactions are a stupid thing, Discord. Why the hell did you add reactions?
Turn them off now.
I know, and I did. But...
Why are they there, though?
I don't know. It's because they've run out of things...
That was a good idea.
Shiver, Discord...
We need to improve our social media outlet. How about we have reactions? Because people need to react to something that we've said rather than just type something in reply. That's how lazy we are now. We don't even type to reply.
Shiver, they've run out of things to implement because they can't get video working, so they're adding reactions instead. No, seriously, really need mobile integration. Discord took off as well as it did because it had mobile at launch. Because it was like, oh... There's this thing that just launched. It's called Discord. What can it do? Literally everything you need. The audio is integrated. The mobile is integrated. The web app is integrated. Everything's integrated. Okay, let's switch. Done. Boom. Everyone's on Discord.
I react to everything with pizza.
Okay, whatever. Hashtag mobile first. Let's move on. Looking ahead... CIG are continuing work on Squadron 42, Star Citizen Alpha 2.6, Alpha 3.0, and beyond. The Star Citizen Anniversary live stream is in 2 weeks. Focuses on the ship pipeline. Watch it. And now to Nakara.
To me,
it's time for edutainment.
You guys are going to get really sick and tired of this topic because, well, I talk about it all the frickin' time. But I promise the next time I'm on, it won't be about this.
Chicken potatoes.
I wrote an article this week that was an update on activities from SpaceX, who managed to blow up their rocket September 1st of 2016. And they're trying to get back to launch capability. Now, kind of an interesting bit about this whole thing is between the time I wrote the article and today, we found out a whole bunch of new information, which I will give you now. Elon Musk actually went, when I wrote my article, and you can find it on INN, there's basically they had identified they knew what had happened when the rocket exploded, but they didn't know why. Basically, they narrowed it down to, for some reason, the fueling procedure caused the rocket to explode. Now, and they were also able to replicate that by doing the exact same fueling procedure again. And it exploded again. Although this was a test container at their test facility, but it still did. Since that happened, Elon Musk was on CNBC this week, and he confirmed that they have actually found the root cause of the explosion. Basically, and the reason it was so hard for them to figure it out was because it is the first time it has ever happened, period, in the history of rocketry in the world. No, it's never happened before. Which is also the reason they couldn't plan for it, is because it wasn't something that was considered to be a problem. Basically, when you mix a carbon fiber vessel, which is what was holding the helium tank, or what the helium tank was made out of, with high pressure liquid helium and liquid oxygen. The oxygen can freeze and become solid. Apparently, solid oxygen has a tendency to explode, especially when in close proximity to carbon, which can actually act as a fuel. And basically that's essentially what happened. While they were fueling the rocket, the carbon vessel got too cold and it froze the oxygen. The nice thing about this is that now that they know what happened, it's actually pretty easy to fix. All they have to do is change their fueling procedure. None of the equipment needs to be changed. The rocket doesn't need to be changed. They just need to do things in a different order, and it won't happen. Which is the reason why they will be returning to flight in mid-December. They have 2 rockets ready to go. The kind of awkward thing for them right now is I actually have a feeling they could launch pretty soon, but they actually currently have 0 operational launch facilities, which means it doesn't matter how prepared you are to launch. The Vandenberg Air Force Base was supposed to be ready, but it had a giant wildfire across most of the Air Force Base. And while the launch facility itself was untouched, they had to inspect 200 miles of copper cable to make sure it was undamaged. It is expected to return to operation sometime this month. Cape Canaveral Launch Complex 40 was where the explosion took place, and they're still working on that. They actually have we had a picture this week of that facility, and they've removed all of the damaged, all of the majorly damaged components, and looks like they're ready to start rebuilding, but it won't be ready for another 6 or 8 months. Launch Complex 39A, which is a really cool place. It is where the Apollo missions launched. It is where the Space Shuttle launched. It is currently under heavy renovation and construction to make that a SpaceX launch facility. They will be launching the Falcon 9 and the Falcon Heavy from there, and it will be ready this month. The other launch facility that they actually have 4, but it is the 4th one is actually a brand new one. It will be a fully commercial launch facility. You actually notice all the other ones are all on Air Force bases.
Yeah.
This will not be on an Air Force base. It will just be their own facility, and it is being built in South Texas.
Now, with their own facility, can they do basically what they want with it? Yeah,
and this is likely to be. Yeah, and they also there'll be less hangups in terms of like other Air Force base activities interrupting them. That won't happen as often. And it also means they can build it out to the size they need to launch the ITS if they need to. That launch facility will be operational at the end of 2018, so we're still about two years away from that one. Now, basically what this means is that they'll have 2 operational facilities by the end of the year, and that's sort of around when they're planning to return to flight. They have 2 rockets ready. One of the rockets is actually already at Vandenberg, ready to launch as soon as that base is ready. And the other cool thing was this week they did a static fire of a stage 1 at McGregor, and then they did a static fire of a stage 2, which essentially means that entire rocket core is now ready, and it is being shipped to Cape Canaveral for launch from Pad 39A. 39A was the shuttle's launch facility, as I mentioned. It last saw launch in 2011, and that was the final space shuttle launch. So there'll be a bit of fanfare surrounding that when it finally has another launch later this year. That is also the facility where SpaceX will be launching astronauts next year. They actually recently had an agreement with the local government there to provide $5 million to help them build what is essentially a way for astronauts to get on board the Falcon Heavy, or not the Falcon Heavy, but the Dragon 2 spacecraft. So that work will be going on this year, and then SpaceX will be launching astronauts to the ISS next year.
What pool of recruits are they getting their astronauts from? Are they recruiting from the Air Force, or will they be doing their own private thing? Do you know?
So for now, they actually have all of the astronauts that will be going up is a contract with NASA. So it will be American astronauts that are launched to the International Space Station, or maybe international astronauts as well. But the focus has always been on getting American astronauts launched by American launch providers again. Because currently they're all sent up using the Russian Soyuz spacecraft, which is an uncomfortable situation.
Yes. Yeah. Carry on, Nakara.
Basically, where we're going from here is the Falcon Heavy will launch early next year. That will be its initial launch. I'm not sure how many people have seen it, but there is a picture in the article. It is basically 3 Falcon 9s strapped together, and it will be able to launch much larger things, obviously, than the Falcon 9. And after that, somewhere down the road, you can see at the bottom of the article, we start getting into interplanetary transport stuff the next few years. A Reddit user named Zilsa, ZLSA, created a whole bunch of really cool infographics about the interplanetary transport system. It explains a lot of how it works. And those are at the tail end of the article. So go check those out. And then there's that picture of that gigantic carbon fiber tank.
I just want to basically tell everyone, hey, we're going to Mars.
Yeah.
And
what happens? Harris, you're not going to Mars. You hate going on airplanes, let alone a spaceship.
I would actually go on a spaceship. I would take a one-way trip to Mars.
Let's hope what happens.
Can we freeze frame on Shivers? Look at one thing I want to mention to
Civil
people.
War doesn't break out like in Call of Duty.
Yeah.
One thing I want to mention to people, as crazy as this sounds, we actually, awesome people over at the SpaceX subreddit, we're trying to figure out how that tank at the bottom of my article fits into the diagrams we have of the the interplanetary transport system. Truth is, it doesn't, because the actual tank that will actually go into it is actually bigger than that one. And so it's it's a little humbling when you see the size of that thing and get an idea of exactly how large the spacecraft will be. Anyway, I'm gonna stop talking now. I hope everyone enjoyed my my ramble on SpaceX.
I love your rambles on SpaceX.
And I hopefully everything goes well with their return to flight at the end of the year and they can start landing rockets again.
Yeah. And now
I get a feeling SpaceX is really going to take off soon.
I like hearing Jake's in the background. That was good. Okay, guess what time it is? It's question time. We're not doing a break today because I don't want to break. Because, it's not so much that I don't want to break, it's that I don't have an overlay set for a break, and I don't have music.
Is why.
You submit questions in chat by doing a one-end bracket, question, end bracket, type out your question.
You know how this works. You've been here.
Equatus hasn't been here. I believe this is Equatus's first time. Equatus asked, and I'm just, letting Equatus know.
It's obvious.
Like Brivels has just done, Brivels84 asks, out of the novella-sized monthly report, what are you most excited for? Now, before...
Oh my God!
Now, before Jake flips out on planets, No, Jake, hold on.
I think it's too late for that, man.
I know, but hold on, because before Jake flips out on planets, I want to say that you're right. The monthly report is novella-sized every week, and if you do not have time to read the monthly report, check out INN's monthly report summary, done by Stormy Winters, Nix Desmarius, Shiver Bathory.
David,
Bam.
It doesn't come out weekly.
Monthly report.
It's
Monthly. Shh, just.
That's why they call it the monthly report. The monthly report is called the monthly report because once a month they release a report on the previous.
You want to fight about it? You want to fight about it?
And then they
you want to fight about it?
Report.
You want to fight about it? Okay. Questions.
Yeah, how about I'll meet you in 1 month.
CS asked what we think about CD Projekt Red maybe being attacked and hostilely taken over.
What is this actually? Can you give me a rundown on this?
So there's all kinds of weird stuff going on over there. They had a shareholder meeting, or no, they're gonna have a shareholder meeting at the end of the month, and they want to see if they can buy back a portion of their company to protect themselves.
They're really worried that somebody's going to try and buy them out, basically hostile takeover style, for billions of dollars, and there's nothing they can do about it.
Yeah,
and they're going to try and stop that from happening.
Because they're a public company, like do
they have like evidence that someone might try and do that?
No, it's all rumor at this point, but there's like this stuff gets weird sometimes.
In that case, you know what? I want them to, because full disclosure, I bloody hate The Witcher. I think it's a horrible game. I don't like The Witcher.
You don't think it's a horrible game. You dislike Geralt. So
I think it's a horrible... Hey, hang on. Let me explain. I think it's a horrible game because of Geralt. I think what CD Projekt Red have done with the development of the game and the way that they make it and the actual tech behind the game, bloody fantastic. And I want them...
I hate Dungeons and Dragons, right? Because, you know, of the dungeons and the dragons, but apart from that, brilliant.
David, are you going to play Cyberpunk when it comes out? Okay.
It's a female character.
No, it's not even that it's a female character. It's honestly that I just can't stand Geralt. Because all of the options you have for any choices are all Geralt options. It's like, What's wrong
with that?
I don't like him.
Well,
then don't play the game.
And I didn't.
Yeah.
No, but that's what I'm saying. I don't. It doesn't even matter. I don't like.
Why don't you like Geralt?
I find he's too Game of Thrones.
He existed long before Game of Thrones ever existed.
I know, but I don't like that style of fantasy. I don't like the everything is grim dark. I like happy, okay?
Not everything is grim dark in Witcher.
But most things. Anyway, doesn't matter. As much as I don't like the game, I don't want CD Projekt Red to be compromised at all. I think that they're one of the few companies that has morals and do a really, really freaking good job of what they do. I don't want them bought out.
And they're not afraid to make an adult story either.
Oh, and I love that.
That's the other thing I really like. But one thing I would like people to encourage people to do is check out the history of CD Projekt Red. Super interesting company. Came from a really interesting place. There's a reason their name is with their name.
Yeah. They did like.
Hey.
Sorry.
Hey. Two things. If you haven't played The Witcher 3, see if you can snag it on sale and at the very least play through the Bloody Baron quest line, because my God, that is some of the best storytelling I've ever seen in a game ever.
I did. I made it that far.
It's incredible. But two, like I really admire that they're one of the few companies who release proper expansions for their single player game. Yep. It's like, here's a DLC, it's $20, but it adds like 40 hours of gameplay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, they're a great company, and I don't want to see that lost. I want to move on to other questions. Yeah. Brivals and Dalton ask what we think about the discounted Super Hornet.
It's kind of weird.
It is a first.
It's weird. Yeah.
It's not something they normally do.
They've never done this before.
Yeah.
They've never done this before.
I honestly don't know what to think about it. I mean,
yeah, I know it's one of the options is with the new Hornet coming and a live presentation that's concentrating on ships specifically. I'm just saying there could be a connection there.
Maybe.
Could be, yeah.
I wonder if this is like a basically end of life sale for the F7CM Hornet.
Might be.
If they're going to replace it with a new model at the live stream.
That'd be nice.
Well, I mean, they have talked for a long time about having like yearly models of ships eventually, and it might be the kind of thing where this is a new Hornet. It's not, this Hornet isn't going to replace it. It's not a redo of the old version. This is a new model Hornet.
Yeah.
I hope not, because the Super Hornet really needs a texture pass.
Well, I'd imagine the old one would get a texture pass and this new one would be announced, but we'll see. Our Holiday 17 asks, why has David run out of alcohol?
David's never really out of alcohol. There's some within proximity of him.
I've actually sent a text. I'm hoping that my girlfriend sees the text and brings something to me. I don't know if she will, or maybe she'll hear me right now saying it. True Medic says, at Eris INN, do you want EA to buy them? No, I don't. I don't want EA to buy anyone.
They need
really, it's important that CD Projekt Red remains independent. They're one of the better developers in the world, and I really don't want anybody to screw with Cyberpunk.
They're not exactly independent since they are publicly owned, but...
Well, they're independent of any gigantic publisher. Yeah. That's what.
And they don't use publishers at all, which is nice.
Yeah. We need more. CD Projekt Red is actually very similar to CIG in that they're both trying to do things without publishers. Same with Valve when it first started Steam. Steam was Valve's way of getting games to people without having to go through a publisher, right? Like it was, we're going to give you our game ourselves. Doom Centurion says, does David dislike Commander Shepard because every conversation answer is a Shepard answer? In the third game, yes. In games 1 and 2, no, because there were actually differences between each conversation option.
Fair enough.
But yes, FemShep is my favorite. Because FemShep is canon.
Is anybody interested?
FemShep is canon.
Yeah, totally.
Because in the teaser trailer for Andromeda, it's FemShep who is speaking.
They have said actually multiple times that FemShep is canon.
Yep.
There's nothing to argue there.
Tangent.
Okay.
Very slight itty bitty. I really like what they're doing with Andromeda in terms of male and female characters. I really like it.
What are they doing?
Both of those characters exist in your game. You play one of them. They're a brother and sister.
Oh wait.
That's I like that.
I like that in theory, as long as they don't take the bloody Brotherhood. It was Brotherhood? No, not Brotherhood. Syndicate, where you can you have to play both of them. Screw that! I don't want to play both of them.
No, you pick male or female, much like you do at the beginning of any Mass Effect game.
Good, that's good.
The other character is a squad member. On your ship.
I like that. That's awesome. Good. That's good. XRaptor117 asks, when will Item 2.0 release? 3.0.
3.0.
That's the 3.0 thing.
And then it's supposed to be completely complete by then.
Yep.
And cross fingers.
That's the way.
True Medic, otherwise known as Canadian Syrup. I still don't know why True Medic's name
He likes Team Fortress.
But, like, you're Canadian Syrup.
Because he's a medic. That never lies.
But he's Canadian Syrup. He says, I think that this is their way of stopping people from constantly melting and switching to the newest thing with store credit. That's actually become a pretty big problem. And
Sure.
Well, it's only a problem if you consider it a problem. I mean, people's ships are people's ships, whatever they want to own.
Yeah, it just means that CIG aren't making as much money.
I would argue that's not necessarily true because I mean, if people aren't going to spend money on the ship, they're not going to spend money on the ship.
I'm much more inclined to upgrade my ships than buy new ones.
Exactly.
So. I've spent like $4,000 on INN. I don't have money for ships anymore. We've run out of
guys.
questions.
Wait. Speaking of ships, there's something that I haven't been on the podcast in 2 weeks, so I haven't had the chance to talk about this, so I need to talk about it. One of the things that we were under NDA about was recently revealed, so we can talk about it.
Wait. Have we seen pictures of it yet?
No.
Okay, so we can't talk that much about it.
The fact that it exists and is coming in November.
Yeah, we can talk about that.
At long last.
Oh my God.
I've been saying this for 2 years. The Prowler is coming.
Let me just say there's a reason I haven't submitted a Prowler drawing.
Oh, that's just giving it away.
No, it's because I'm lazy and I don't have time to go and sit and do a drawing.
But yeah, so
By the way,
guys,
I gotta tell people here, I still hold a bit of a grudge against these guys here, the two that are on top of each other over there on the other side. Yeah. So I was told when we were visiting CIG that the only people that would actually get to go back inside and do interviews and stuff were David and his audio guy. So I left. And then they got to see all this amazing stuff.
Believe me,
I blame them.
I was told that as well. I blame
you?
No, there was some stuff going on that people weren't leaving and needed to.
Why are you talking right now? Oh my God.
Next week, Eris will be replaced by someone else as he has been assassinated and he will never be living again.
I can remove him from this call.
I'd like to see if he's going to blink first, though. That's quite impressive.
He's streaming this right now, so it wouldn't actually help me. But yeah, Prowler's coming, guys. I'm excited. Who else is excited? I am. It also probably means that we're gonna see some cool Tavarin stuff, which is cool.
I think it also means that Tavarin will probably show up in Squadron 2.
Yup.
Okay, that takes a lot of energy.
I like the Tavarin.
NDA.
Yeah.
Hey, boys and girls.
So X-Raptor 117 asks,
ask questions.
Can anyone wait for the escape pod mechanic?
I mean, I actually think it's really cool. I can't wait to see what it's like on the Vanguard, which I think has the coolest escape pod of any ship. Where you're just like, bail into the center of the ship and then get fired out its ass, as this like cube, indestructible cube.
I wonder how indestructible it will be.
Well, it's supposed to have a very, very, very low signal, so it'd be hard to find, and it's supposed to be very strong.
I mean, if you're following the Vanguard shooting it, and then you see this thing drop out of it, you can probably find the thing, right?
Maybe. As you noticed in the Arena Commander, the distances are insane, and things can disappear pretty quick.
Once things slow down, though.
That's another interesting aspect, too. I think I'm really curious to see how the game plays in 2.6 for Arena Commander, because combat is going to slow significantly.
Thank you, Cass.
Did you hear that? I got beer delivered.
You.
Hey! Okay.
By the way, you can thank me for that, David.
Really?
I hooked you up.
Thanks. Which is weird, because I texted.
I sent her a message on Facebook.
Equinus asks, are you in the IT field? I am not. CS asks, which of the 5 landing zones are you looking forward to the most? Microtech. 10,000% Microtech.
Yeah.
Snow planets.
Oh, yes. Is the most interesting for me. Especially if I assume they're going to let us, but if we can roam wild across its surface, I'm really curious to see the snow effects. I want to see if they've got footprints down for snow. I want to see.
They said they were working on snow recently, didn't they?
Yes, they did.
I don't remember.
I know this is totally maybe a pipe dream, but one tech I'd love to see them do, I have never seen a game do well, is accumulating snow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would love it if they could figure out a way to do accumulating snow.
I will say no. Honestly, I'm most looking forward to Hurston. One, Hurston to me looks like the first place you spawn in, like the first like city in KOTOR. It's very built up. Yeah,
I think Crusader looks more like KOTOR. Looks like Terrace. Are you talking about Terrace?
Maybe the second one then. Like the one where you have to go through all the bloody apartments.
Yeah, that's Terrace.
I feel like
Crusader,
Hurston. I feel like Hurston looks more like
Terrace.
it.
Because Terrace is gross, but not Hurston gross.
I don't know. I always thought it was, but
Hurston looks more like Brink. Did you ever play Brink?
Brink. I played it briefly. Yeah.
It looks like Brink.
I think everyone
How do you
played
spell
Brink
Terrace?
Shiver? What planet?
I'm with you, Microtech. I want the Mass Effect. Was it 2 or was it 1?
It's 1.
No, it was 1. It's 1. Yeah, yeah. I want that feeling back.
I forget what that planet's called though. It starts with an N.
Yeah.
Here's
but it's
one.
The one where you go and kill Councillor Troy.
Will Hurston have rat ghouls?
So Zan1X asks, how do you guys feel about CIG having these sales before the game is even out, screwing over the whole early price for backers idea?
Again, we said it before earlier in the podcast. It's weird, but I don't know how I feel about it.
Honestly, I'm sort of torn. I don't really. I think
I see where both sides are coming from. Is basically what I'm saying.
It's kind of hard to know how to feel about it because it kind of hasn't happened before.
Question: can you melt your current one and buy it back with store credit?
The value.
I don't think you're allowed to use store credit for the discounted one.
Oh, interesting.
No. I don't know.
Do you think with the community reaction, CIG will ever do this again, or do you think they'll try it again with a different approach?
Zeus and Axius, just real quick, the planet's called Novaria.
Okay, there we go.
One thing I wanted to mention to people is, yeah, it's weird, but on the same side, there are a lot of things in life that you buy them and then they go on sale later. A lot of things. So I'm not entirely sure if it is, a problem. But, ships were generally supposed to be cheaper for the earlier you get them. So I don't know. It's sort of a...
Lots were. Think about the Starfarer. I rebought my Starfarer because do you know how much money I saved on my freaking Starfarer?
A lot.
Because I bought it.
$100 on mine.
I bought it when it was first announced, and then I melted it. But then after, I was able to rebuy it because, dude, it quadrupled in price and size. Like, so no, you know what? I don't have a problem with what they're doing with the Hornet. I mean, the Hornet hasn't changed in a long time. Fine. Hang on. There's something that Ben said in the interview that we did with him. I don't even know if we've got the Disco interview up on INN yet, which we really need to. I gotta put that on my.
I'll save it for the end.
But one of the things Ben said is like he hopes that the people who backed early aren't thinking of it so much as we got more money for our back, yay. It's we get to watch the development.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like it's about the
attitude you have.
It is. It's about the attitude that you have with the game. And you know what? I'm putting money into the game not to get the best ship at launch, not to be better than everyone else at launch, not to have, elite gear before anyone else. I'm putting the money into it because I want to support the game. If all you want is the game, buy just an Aurora or a Mustang and be done with it. If you want anything else, don't buy it for the ship, buy it to support the game.
Mm-hmm.
That's all there is to it.
I do want to get through these questions because there's a lot.
Yeah, there are a lot of questions now. Zeus Anoxia asks, do you think we'll be able to buy ships and ship equipment in 3.0?
Quite possibly, since they had Dumpers Depot thrown into Delmar.
I think they want to do it. Whether it'll actually make it is a question mark.
Yeah.
Emra CSS.
Well, True Medic
talked about how Star Marine is more than just a game. It will have a history behind it and allow you to relive the past. How much more excited are you to play it now that there's more to it than just killing each other? That's kind of it was its whole intent in the beginning, right? Because that is how we're going to be able to play, how to replay missions from Squadron 42, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So.
Okay.
That aspect of it.
Yeah. CS has another question that I wanted to get into.
He has a better one that I want to get into.
Okay, fine, but I'm getting into the first one first.
Okay.
Battlefield 1 multiplayer is awesome. Do you agree or disagree? Explain why. I agree. I agree because
disagree.
Shiver, have you played it?
No, that's
then
why
you can't
I disagree.
The operations. No, seriously. The operations game mode in Battlefield 1 is excellent. It is.
CS wants us to talk about not Star Citizen.
Yeah, he does. I know, it's weird. No, but seriously, the operations game mode is a mix of rush and conquest with story mode. Like, the operations game mode is possibly the best multiplayer game mode I've seen in the past decade.
Awesome.
I'm going to ask his next question and disagree with that statement.
Actually,
by talking about Titanfall.
Wait, Nakara.
Wait, no, wait. We can't skip that question.
Oh no, I'm getting back to that question.
Yeah,
I like that question a lot.
Okay,
we're going back to Aquatuses.
We're going back to that one, but just while we're on the topic of other shooters.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
CS was saying Titanfall 2 has been widely received by critics and consumers, also me. Do you think this is a change from the norm EA is trying with this franchise for future EA products, with them having free maps and modes completely different from their standard model? This is different because this is really not an EA product. They are just publishing it. It's more so that like they have Respawn has more control over it than DICE would for Battlefield, because DICE is technically an internal EA studio. Whereas Respawn is technically a third party that is being published by EA. Because we don't know how long that contract is going to last. We don't know if they're going to be EA forever or whatever. But I know that's the philosophy that Respawn said they wanted to do from the get-go with Titanfall 2, because of how much the DLC for the first game fragmented the community. And I think more power to them for that. It's great. Also, for the love of God, of the three shooters, this is my own personal opinion, so take that for what you will. Titanfall 2 is the best of the three. The game
single player.
No, I really like the multiplayer.
I think that honestly, I think this is just my opinion, but I think Call of Duty needs to be shuttered.
Yeah,
I think it lost steam about 8 years ago.
It lost steam after Modern Warfare 2.
Steam.
What about Call of Duty?
It lost steam after Modern Warfare 2.
I think it needs to be shuttered.
It's good.
I'll be right back.
It's the worst of the three that just came out in the last 3 weeks, but I think it's better than it has been in a while.
Fair enough.
It's space. There's zero FPS combat, which is fun.
I think they're just sort of flailing around trying to come up with the newest, shiniest thing instead of actually making a good game.
It's fun though. I think it's pretty good.
Fair enough.
I didn't like Black Ops 3 at all. The
last one I actually played and liked was I don't know.
Did you play
Black Ops maybe?
Black Ops 1 was great.
Yeah, that's the one. I think that's the last one I played and enjoyed.
Yeah.
Since then, it's been kind of a mess.
This is the first one I've liked really since then. So,
I want to ask Drew Medic's shitpost question.
About Xbox?
Why can't Star Citizen be released on Nintendo Wii? Well, Because the Wii would catch fire, and then your house would catch fire, and then the neighborhood would burn down.
So I'm gonna his Xbox question because he's just going down.
Yeah, honestly. Yes, what are you doing?
Have you been drinking?
I think he's actively drinking.
And I also think that question is more about the Scorpio than the Xbox One S because
I would agree.
Because consoles have always released slim models after a couple years. And that's always been the case since the dawn of time. So
Scorpio is the one that's an interesting departure.
Okay, going back to Equatus's question because it's a great question.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do you think where we are? Do you think we are where we should be after 4+ years of development?
I'm gonna take over here.
Why?
No. I'm gonna take over.
Everyone else skip this question.
No, we're starting with Nakara. I want to do a round table. Nakara, go.
Yeah, I think we are. The money kind of doesn't matter. You can only develop so fast. They have developed 4 studios, employing almost 400 people in-house now, and they have re-engineered. Basically, they created their own graphics engine because based on CryEngine, and they have got the underpinnings, the underlying systems mostly complete for a game that will probably be one of the most ambitious, largest games ever created. It's not doing too bad after 4 years, given where they started and what they had to do. They came from having 6 people. They now have almost 400. By the way, I have to take this opportunity to say happy birthday to Ortwin.
Yes.
Happy birthday, Ortwin.
Ortwin was the co-founder of CIG.
Yep.
And I will now pass it off. That's where I'm at.
Shiver.
As Eric said, it's not so much they've had 4+ years. They've had $130 million. If I gave a brick $130 million in 4 years, it would still be a brick. You know, you don't just money doesn't suddenly change everything. The CryEngine, the CryEngine manuals are like these thick. It's people don't go into CryEngine casually. It's hard to find staff that you can use CryEngine fully, let alone staff that can use CryEngine fully and well. So all things considered, massive changes to the engine, improvements to the engine, expansion across the world to 4 different studios, 2 in Europe, 2 in the States. Yeah, I think considering everything, I'm no expert on game development, but I like where we are. Maybe in some areas, yes, we could be ahead, but in some other areas, we're doing really well. Like procedural planet generation is amazing right now, and that's not fully implemented. What they've done with the art assets and what they can do with the art assets, that's unique. That no other game ever, nothing, not even Armor, can look at a helicopter, say, and smash that into several pieces in the middle of the game and then recognize those all as individual separate entities. That is amazing. So I think things are going all right, to be honest. I'm satisfied, and I'm happy to just sit here and wait and see what they present to us.
Jake.
All right. To pretty much echo what they've been saying, I think we are in a good spot because something that a lot of people forget is that when they started, they did have 6 people. And it takes a lot of time and a lot of money to build a company. If they had these 4 studios already when they started, and then they got the $130 million, I would be concerned if we were where we were right now. Because they had the infrastructure to do it. They had the talent. They had all of that stuff in order for it to actually happen. And if they didn't do it with that money, then it would be crazy. But the fact of the matter is they were working out of a bedroom in Austin when they started, and now they have incredible studios that they've built from the ground up, and that's where a lot of the time has gone, is finding the right people, because we know that over the last 4 years there's been some people who have worked for the company that don't work there anymore because they weren't the right person for the job, and now we have a lot of that talent. I mean, there's always going to be turnover. That's just how the nature of the beast. But I think that's the biggest thing, is that all of the building up those studios is what made this. And actually, I want to jump on his follow-up question here real quick, because it kind of ties in. What is the purpose of 4 studios? Couldn't things be developed more effectively with a unified location?
Nope.
No, it cannot. Having the ability to have to be able to find talent from all over the world and have it be easy for them to relocate is phenomenal. Having the ability to develop the game around the clock,
24 hours, it don't
incredible.
stop.
I would like to interject here really quickly. If I don't,
go ahead.
Hope you don't mind, Jake.
Yeah.
Probably one of the smartest things I've ever seen done in game development was them recognizing the situation at Crytek and going, "Those are the people we need." And they're going to leave, and they're going to go. They're going to be scattered all over the freaking world if we don't do something right now. So overnight, they created a studio in Germany
and sent Brian Chambers there,
and literally hired anybody who would come work for them from Crytek. They hired 20 people from Crytek overnight.
Yeah, overnight.
And they said, these are the guys that we need to be in our company because we need CryEngine experts. And they're not in Austin, Texas. They're not in LA. They're not in the UK. They're in Frankfurt, Germany.
And that was the huge hurdle they needed to get over, is they didn't have the talent for a while.
And Frankfurt,
then they built the Frankfurt studio.
The things Frankfurt do.
Yeah.
Frankfurt's been around for a year and a half, and they have done massive work to the FPS, to procedural generation, to the graphics, to the AI.
I want to quickly
piping system infrastructure.
I want to quickly weigh in on this, because I want to compare this against other things, because 2012 launch 6 people. 2013 October, 1 year later, 48 people. That's not even a bloody studio yet, and this is all coming from CIG themselves. The next year, 2014, 161 people. Okay, 2014 we can count CIG.
Studio.
That is a studio. CIG are a studio in 2014. 2 years later, we're at what, almost 400? 2016, almost 400, 2 years. So we've basically had 2 years of development time for Star Citizen. EverQuest, 99, took 3 years. World of Warcraft, 2004, took 5 years. Star Wars, The Old Republic, 2011, took 5 years. Guild Wars 2, 2012, took 5 years. Elder Scrolls Online, 2014, took 7 years. We've basically had 2 years of development on Star Citizen, the place that they're at now with the amount of time.
2 years of full speed development.
2 years of full speed development. The place that they're at now with the funding that they've got is absolutely insane.
And here's the thing.
Period.
Well, just real quick, here's the thing about that too. The big takeaway from CitizenCon was the schedule of features that's going to be coming in the next few patches.
Yeah.
This is the result of them going full speed ahead now.
Yeah. They can actually project where they're going now.
Yeah.
They had a really hard time with that for a while. They couldn't seem to project where they were going because they were still growing like crazy.
Yep.
One thing I wanted to mention though about that whole thing is, that is always in my head. That has been for a very long time where I measured the start of development. Not necessarily of the game itself, because there was a lot of lore development prior to that, and a lot of underlying decisions that were made. But
it was design.
They finally got enough people at the beginning of 2014 to actually start doing significant work. Now, frankly, the game's in a pretty good state. It's going to be in a much better state really soon. It's kind of funny when you look at 2.5 and you got little Crusader map and you have Arena Commander. And little Crusader map, it's gigantic, but it's nowhere near the size of what we're going to get. You know, in 2 patches, we're going to go from where we're at now to having a full FPS game mode with Star Marine, plus an entire system in the Persistent Universe. It's going to change really pretty quickly. Now, the problem that I have right now, and this has been weighing on my mind, is the days and weeks are ticking by, and we haven't had a major release in a long time. I don't know what the problem is, but I honestly, at this point, I'm like a lot of people in the community. I'm starting to doubt they're going to get their releases out by the end of the year.
I would love to know what the blockers are.
Yeah.
I
want to quickly ask all 3 of you a question.
Okay.
Sure. We've got a number of questions that we haven't had time to get to. Do any of you mind going an extra 5 or 10 minutes?
Sure.
No, let's go.
Yeah.
Okay. I wanted
to augment real quick before we wrap up that discussion on why Frankfurt is as important as it is. Mm-hmm. The $41 million stretch goal for Star Citizen. I'm looking at it right now. It was reached in January of 2014. The stretch goal was a procedural generation R&D team. Yeah. Research and development.
Yeah.
The stretch goal will allocate funding for Cloud Imperium to develop procedural generation technology for future iterations of Star Citizen. Advanced procedural generation will be necessary for creating entire planets worth of exploration and development content. A special strike team of procedural generation-oriented developers will be assembled to make this technology a reality. They weren't planning on having this technology in the original release of Star Citizen.
You can actually look back to 2014, actually, and some of the developer comments, because they were asked about procedural content a lot, and some of the developer comments there was like, yeah, we're going to start looking into it, but, you know, probably not at launch. And then Frankfurt happened.
The timeline they were talking about was basically 2020 for procedural to actually make a break into a Star Citizen.
We're going to see it within the next 6 months.
It's going to be basically in the end of 2016 or early 2017.
And we've seen it.
And it's already been demonstrated.
Shiver.
Sorry, what was that? Go ahead, Shiver.
Just quickly augment as well the fact that for the past 2-3 years, whatever you want to say, they've been working on core systems. They've been working on stuff that is all literally behind the curtain. When 3.0 comes out, whenever you want to believe that is, when that comes out, thereon after, we will be seeing a lot more stuff that we can actually appreciate from a user end. Because that is the advantage of having done all this amazingly hard work now, is everything is just ready for it to go in. So you will start seeing that a lot quicker. You will see progress that is a lot quicker.
Making the systems robust enough to last for decades.
Yeah.
One more quick point.
And upgradable, modular, things that they can always build on.
Nakara.
One more quick point. The only reason they were able to do... I just wanted to give everyone in this community a pat on the back. The only reason that whole Frankfurt thing even was able to happen was they obviously had a lot of money to spare.
Yeah.
They basically went, we can form a studio instantly out of thin air, no problem.
I have seen a lot of people say, oh, they've got no money. It's like, no. If they had no money, they wouldn't have been able to do Frankfurt. Period.
I honestly think at any given time they're probably holding $20 to $30 million in reserve
easily. So what we're gonna do now, because I do want to run for a bit longer. We're gonna run for another 10, maybe 15 minutes, but we are gonna try and rapid fire the questions because we do have a number of them.
Running was not part of the deal.
I hate you, Shiver. So I'm gonna do an around table. All 3 of you. We're starting with Nakara. X-Raptor 117. When do you think we will get satellite stuff from ATV 3.8, destructible satellites, etc.?
I think they're going to be in 3.0. I think that's a great way to add a bunch of content into 3.0, is to throw in military satellites and communication satellites, just satellites. They obviously have them pretty much done. and they're easily reproducible in modular components. So I would look for them in 3.0 or shortly after.
Okay, so Shiver, True Medic intended this as a shitpost question, but he asked, why can't Star Citizen be released on Nintendo Wii? So I'm asking you instead, Star Citizen on consoles, why can't it happen?
Because potatoes don't have any kind of disc bay drive for you to insert a Blu-ray disc that is bound to be the size of Squadron 42 finished product.
Okay. Mr. Jake Acapella, CDie1980 asks, are you going to miss the open development when the game is finally done? Do you think the post-launch community is going to be vastly different from the community that we have today?
What are you talking about?
Launch.
Guys, yeah, you think they're going to shut all their doors? Are you serious? Come on, get out of here.
I mean, to point out,
I think the community is going to be different, but no way are they going to get rid of at least partially open development.
Well, part of it is I would like to remind people that they have said before the whole subscription system they currently have is planned to continue past launch. So you'll still have Jump Point, you'll still have all of that developer insight. It's not going anywhere. I think it's going to be an interesting juggling act because they'll have to do all the in-game news as well as all of the developing news.
No, that's our job.
Well, yeah. Yeah,
no,
it's supposed to be a secret. It's supposed to be a secret that we're taking over CIG's.
Right. Sorry. No, but seriously, I mean, you look at some.
I am Chris Roberts.
You look at some of the more important people in Star Citizen, and they're Ben Lesnick and Disco Lando, and they're part of the community team.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. The community team.
Fire.
Yeah.
Go.
Sorry. C asks another garbage question that I'm going to answer. Since I'm giving too many useless questions, how does this question affect future questions that you'll answer? Yes.
We'll never answer your questions again, CS.
Okay, Nakara. Equatus asks, what's the purpose of 4 studios? Couldn't things be developed more effectively with a unified location?
It's already been answered.
Okay, fine. Oh, Jim showed up.
Hi, Jim.
Hi, Jim. You're our favorite instance manager.
Okay, so Nikara, Triangularity asks, do you think that CIG should ever stop to continue development the game after the release? And if so, when and why? Should they ever stop developing the game after it releases?
2
Shiver.
days of the working week.
This is Nikara's answer.
So what Shiver said, plus they've already stated openly many times that as long as they can still find a way to make the game, they'll make it. They're looking at it as a 10 to 20 year game.
Like, wow.
Yeah.
Basically, Chris Roberts has said he has no intention of ever doing anything else. This is his thing.
This is the swan song
forever.
This is the swan song. This is it. This is actually one that I kind of like from Jim, so I'm going to ask it to everyone.
Thanks, Jim.
I do want to, quickly though. So, Nakara, starting with you again. Why doesn't CIG bring back the once-a-week Star Marine updates?
They should.
Shiver.
I'd like to see that.
Jake.
Yes, please.
Me. They don't bring it back because people haven't yelled at them enough yet. So yell at them. Also, oh, I know people are yelling, but
louder.
No,
but no. Seriously, they do need to bring back those updates. We were supposed to. We expected to see something from Star Marine around CitizenCon. We're now several weeks out of CitizenCon. We do need to know what the blockers are on Star Marine. No doubt about it.
Yep. And because a lot of people are looking at it now going, there's no way they get 3.0 out either. Will they even get 2.6 out? You know.
We need an update on both of them. We need an update on where 3.0 is, and I know that CIG hate to do release dates or when you can expect things, but we do need to know when to expect some things.
Mm-hmm. Well, especially since they had that whole release schedule, 3.0 really is supposed to be out at the end of the year. It has a hard date of the 3rd week of December. So, I mean, they have 6 weeks. I don't know, man. Anyway, rapid fire.
Keep going.
Well, we've only got one because Jake shut off the questions.
Yep.
And it comes from Jim. Can you guys start looking at each other when you're talking to one another like the Friday night show, since it bugs so many people and is amusing? No, I don't want to look at any of these bastards.
No.
I think.
Okay.
You up?
Real quick. I want to do a INN community update.
Yep.
I'm Tyler Witkin right now, I guess. I want to mention some cool stuff that's happening in the community. There's this guy on Reddit. His name is Bullet with an IT instead of an ET. 39. He is working on a machinima project.
Nice. Those go well.
It's going to premiere on Friday next week, November 11th, on Captain Richard's Twitch channel at 10 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. It looks really awesome. I'm gonna post the thread in here. It's called Vengeance of the Damned. It looks really cool. Please go check it out. It looks awesome. And yeah, also guys, we're getting ever closer to our 3,000 Twitter follower
Twitter
goal. So when we get there, we're gonna do a big giveaway.
I have a box in my closet.
Yeah. Oh, also didn't realize this happened. We hit 2,000 followers on Twitch.
Really?
Yes, we did.
Shout out to that.
Actually, 2050 we're at right now. So I think next week we should do something cool.
Yes.
Name them. I don't believe you unless you name them.
So thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you.
You guys are the best. Again, like, we can't do this without you. So please, if possible, if you have Twitter, if you have any means to share our content with your friends, please do. Twitch.tv/INN Live and Twitter.com/INN_Star Citizen. We need some better branding, guys.
I got two questions. Do we have a Flickr?
A Flickr?
Yes.
Flickr?
Yeah,
no.
what is Flickr?
Yes.
It was just created
Tumblr?
in the last
Flickr?
like,
yes.
2 weeks.
Yes, we have a Flickr.
All right, so we do have one.
Imgur,
And what is
but
it?
It's Imgur without the horrendous file compression.
Okay.
Jim says suggestion Bengal giveaway for 2K followers. No.
Sure, you got it, Jim.
No, but for 3K followers on Twitch, there will be a giveaway, and in the coming months, I do have a lot of ships. I've got $4,000 of ships. I've realized that I do not need $4,000 of ships for the game, so I'm going to be looking into the ships that I have, and I'm going to be looking into some giveaways that we can run. So we will be doing some things shortly.
Yep.
Reclaimer giveaway confirmed.
No, Reclaimer is freaking mine.
No.
All right, Endeavor.
David,
going.
No.
David has some pretty serious issues when he's without his Reclaimer.
No.
Guys, not to be vague or anything, but we got some cool things on the horizon for INN. So stay tuned.
We got plans,
Things are
bro. So I want to run down. Nikar, do you have anything this week? I know that last week we had Zane's article. Do we have anything for the coming week?
Let's be spontaneous this week.
Let's be spontaneous this week. Okay, this is going to be a spontaneous week. Shiver, what do you got?
Cosmic Cataclysm postcards from the Event Horizon.
I think I'm on one of those.
Any news that comes out, I will be stalking it.
No, I'm on something else this week. God, I can't even remember what I'm on this week. I'm on a show this week.
Postcards.
I forgot one thing. Everybody watching the stream right now, if you want some more of me, but I mean, none of you.
It depends on what you're offering.
I'm going to be on our dear friend, Mr.
Yes.
Paul the Astropub Shelley, on his podcast, The Captain's Table.
Ask him if he finished off his sortilege, because I just finished off mine.
I will ask him. So if you go here, twitch.tv/theastropub, That starts at 6 p.m. Eastern time. So it's going to be. Here, I'm going to pull up the roster for this week. It's pretty good this week. It's going to be me, Paul, Ryan from the Super Mac Brothers, Matauchi, the Nubifier, and Witch Kitty. So it's a pretty loaded cast of characters.
Not bad.
Yes, Jim. That is tonight at 6 o'clock Eastern time. So in about 2 hours.
And I've got nothing. Just stay tuned to the regular transcripts from CS and his team.
Absolutely.
And
by the way, huge props to them for all of their work. Always.
Always.
The whole team. That monthly report summary.
Yep.
Like even their leader was down and out this week, and they got the monthly report summary done without him.
Yep. The team that we've got going is absolutely amazing. Like Jake said, keep an eye out for some exciting things coming to INN soon. TM. Yep. We got stuff coming up.
Thanks.
And hey, you know what? This is 10 minutes past the time that I said we'd take 10 minutes to get to. So thank you all for coming out. Thank you all for hanging out. Thank you all for asking all your questions. Shiver, I don't care if your numbers are wrong. Mine are correct. I'm going to continue talking until we hit 4:10 on the PM. Yeah, that's what you just did. No, I'm done. Yeah.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the verse.
See you in the verse.
Inside the Verse. Or something. Is that the name of our show?
I don't know. Should we change it? Wait. Question. Real quick. Should we change it to In the Verse?
No.
No. David,
Paris in the 25th century.
See you later, everyone.
Goodbye.
Bye. Have a good weekend.